For as long as I remember, paying in installments has always been a thing. Banks nowadays allow you to divide almost anything into installment payments. Installment payments by definition is when you generally can't afford something or would rather divide that bulk money amount over a specific time period. Sometimes it incurs fees and other times it doesn't. That installment plan can also come in the form of a loan, where you take a big chunk of money from the bank to pay for what you want and give it back slowly, with incurred fees, obviously. But why am I even bringing this up? Well, think about it. Who would say no to dividing up the thing you always wanted to buy into smaller payments across a year or two or even 10 if it's a house? See, this thing could be very useful for most of us, but dangerous to others. This very convenience can be detrimental if not managed properly. Now, this is not a finance class by any means, but I just wanted to tell you that these forms of payments have always been around if you look carefully at the bigger picture. The subscription model. If you open up any app right now, chances are it offers a subscription payment plan for its service, and it's not by mistake, trust me. They know what they're doing. Whether it's music apps like Apple Music, editing apps like Adobe Premiere, streaming apps like Netflix, or many others, it seems that this form of payment has become the norm across different industries. But how did this start? Remember those black and white papers that came in daily on your doorstep? Those really big ones with massive pages that a kid can barely hold on to without failing miserably. Newspapers, or more specifically, the publishing industry, pioneered this idea. The idea that you could subscribe to a service, or in this case, a product, that came in daily and was so convenient to bring you news. Remember those? Or what about those little booklets that you see in a hair salon, a waiting room, or your own house? The ones you used to cut out your favorite celebrity pictures or outfits to keep. Yep, magazines, same thing. And even if you can't relate to any of these, what I'm trying to tell you is that these things were around, but never perceived as valuable as they are now, in the 21st century. What do you think changed? I'll give you a hint. It's something you use every day, available almost anywhere, and drives you crazy when it's down for a minute. The internet. Now I know, some of you were thinking, smartphones, huh? Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but for now, let's focus on trying to appreciate what the internet has provided for us in the past couple of years. What used to take people days now takes us a couple of minutes by just Googling it. Messaging someone and meeting them virtually has never been so easy. I mean, it wasn't that long ago where we used to send each other physical mails. It's only been around 50 years. Adopting and implementing the subscription-based model used to be difficult before the internet. One of the biggest challenges for companies, believe it or not, was actually collecting those monthly payments. Imagine having to go collect money monthly from millions of users or subscribers. It would have been a disaster. Fast forward to today and just log on to your phone, select your payment method, agrees to the terms and conditions, and off you go. Digital payment methods are a game changer. Just use your credit card information and you're good. And if you're a minor, sure, take your parents' card. This change helped companies process those recurring payments without requiring any massive workforce, just IT, I guess. And companies are noticing this trend, especially with millennials. Log on to Instagram now, and you can see it trying to implement the purchase product on the spot option, or Instagram shopping. And you can even opt into paying in cash with specific vendors if you feel more comfortable doing that. So what kind of subscriptions are out there? Well, let's take a look at industries and give some examples so you can understand how things are really changing. If you look at transportation in general, let's say you commute using the bus. You pay for your card's monthly fee, and you could commute anytime and anywhere you want. If you want a car, you don't have to buy one, just rent a car and subscribe to a monthly plan. Companies like Audi, Nissan, and Porsche have done this. For $2,000 a month, you can use 8 different kinds of Porsches, like the Cayenne, the Boxster, and others. Or let's say you're a frequent airplane traveler. Well, not anymore obviously, but businesses like Flyline aim to save you money on flights they can get you at discounted prices, if you subscribe to their yearly fee. Or how about gaming? That sounds interesting, doesn't it? We've always been used to buying a CD for $60 on average. As the gaming industry evolved, and as companies like EA, who own FIFA, or Activision, who own Call of Duty, realized that consumers are more likely to spend in-game. Now, there's a shift. If you've been following the new PlayStation 5 news, you'd know they are offering two models. And even if you're not following up with the gaming news, this is important, stay with me. So PlayStation are offering the standard console, the one you're used to paying for, $500. But what was interesting this year is that they released another model, the PlayStation 5 Digital, which goes for $400. The only difference is that this model does not come with a CD drive. So you literally can't put a CD into your console, which is absurd. But do you understand where I'm going with this? The gaming industry is realizing, whether on PC or consoles like PlayStation and Xbox, that not all consumers want to pay $60 for one game up front. And here's the kicker. They'll do subscription services for games. So for example, Xbox offers something called Game Pass, and PlayStation offers PlayStation Now, starting $10 a month. You could choose to play one of hundreds of high-quality games, which is an incentive for many. Imagine, you just buy the console and you know you have a lot of free time this month specifically. Just subscribe for the month and play as many games as you want, and stop subscribing when you're done. Now obviously, it's not that simple, because playing online will be quite challenging, but we're not getting into that, we're just trying to draw the picture here. The final example I want to give is more into this content subscription specifically. Not just gaming as content, I'm talking streaming like Netflix and Spotify, or software like Adobe Photoshop, and online education platforms like Masterclass and Skillshare. These let you subscribe for a monthly or yearly fee. In return, you get their content from videos, courses, music, movies, and communities. Yeah, there's a lot of industries getting into this. And it's not just for the consumer trend, it's because investors in those companies like to see predicted revenues. And when you have subscribers, you have an idea of what revenues to expect over the course of a year. Probably the biggest challenge for the companies is retaining those customers, because let's face it, almost everything is subscription now. Don't you feel sick of it all? And guess what? There's even a term for that. It's called subscription fatigue. With so many of the businesses going for this strategy, some consumers are just overwhelmed with managing this many subscriptions. If we, the consumers, are at the center of all of this, how is this affecting us? Let's take a closer look. Let's say I have this new game I want you to subscribe to for $5 a month. Let's just give an example. I advertise it aggressively. Will you think of subscribing? If you subscribe, others won't. So what do? I'll do a 1-month free trial period. That way, you get to try it for yourself for free. And if you don't like it, fine, just cancel. But there's a catch. You have to subscribe using your payment credentials. And if you're not careful, we will charge you when the trial is over. And that's exactly what companies do. According to Alan Sampson, a consumer behavior specialist at the London School of Economics, he says, free trials are effective because people are prone to inaction, especially if that renewal is automatic and you have to opt out of it. And it makes sense. I experienced it myself. This is part of the psychology that goes into subscriptions. But there's one thing not everyone is considering with the rise of these trends. Ownership. What do I mean? One question. Do you own any of these subscriptions you opt into after that subscription expires? No, you don't. What we used to buy as a one-time purchase, we owned forever. But now, with the subscriptions, you don't own anything anymore. Those playlists you used to have in your room, in your closet, or those movies you kept to watch later, or that game you play on a regular basis, if you don't subscribe, you can't use it. And sure, you can go for ad-supported services like YouTube and get bombarded by 6 ads per video, but this is the idea I wanted to deliver throughout this podcast. It's that sure, our lives are becoming so convenient nowadays with everything catered towards us, the consumers, but at some point, we get tired, we want to opt out. We want to manage what we're doing, and we want to have some money left at the end of the month, on any given month. If you subscribe to Netflix, Spotify, a room cleaning service, pay for your monthly insurance, pay for your taxes, rent a car, pay an editing software you use for a living, pay a gym membership, paying for your newest phone in 12-month installment, rent out an apartment, pay your utility bills, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And you think you won't end up broke? It's all about how you manage it at the end of the day. But in this digital economy, and this age where everything is at the tip of our fingers, we should always be aware and conscious of what we're getting into. Thank you for listening.